What is going on out there, peeps? All right, let's get into what's going on in Iraq. There's not a lot of news, but there is an article that I think is a super huge big deal that I'll share with you. All right, because it's gonna make a huge difference on what's going on in the Middle East, and that includes obviously Iraq. But we'll get into that here in just a second. If you guys are thinking about precious metals, please give our friends over there at Money Metals Exchange a consideration. The link is in the description. If you are a first-time buyer, use promo code Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you will get a free half ounce of silver. And you guys should be thinking about that because look at this. I don't know what the heck happened. It is now at a 52-week high. Bitcoin's taken off, and so is Ethereum, all right? You guys, cryptocurrencies seem to be on the move once again. And I told you guys this about a couple days ago, and it's still continuing to climb. I told you cryptocurrencies are very volatile, but look, this has gone up $1,620. That's up 14%. That's really good. Ethereum's up 6%. Bitcoin Bitcoin Cash up 8%. So it's looking really good. 13% for XLM, man. That's pretty damn good. That's going neck and neck with Bitcoin. Remember, you want to pay attention to the percentage increase, not the dollar increase. All right. So, and gold and silver on the move. Look at now. Silver's back up above $25. You're looking at gold now is above 1925. So if you're thinking about buying some cryptocurrencies, there's a link in the description. Just follow it and it'll take you where you can buy. And if you follow that link, they'll give you 10 free dollars. All right. Okay, so let's get past that, but get into this. As you guys know, I'm not on Facebook at the moment. I don't know if it's permanent or not, but we're going to find out. My guess is it probably won't let me back on until after the election. So nonetheless, you can come join me over here on Twitter. The link is in the description. All right, and then also we have, I know I was going to show you, just in case something happens to me on the platforms, you guys, you can follow this link and it takes you to the GESARA Club. And you can see on here that I have my profiles on here. You can see me right here. So just click it. It'll take you to my profile. And in here, you guys can see all my videos, okay? So you can share them on all these different platforms, all right? Feel free to do so. You don't have to ask for my permission, okay? So come on over here. And in case something happens to me, you don't know where I'm at and you need to find me, make sure you sign up for this newsletter, all right? So it's free to do so, and just sign up, and it'll let you know if something should ever happen to my profiles so you know where to find me, okay? I just wanted to share that with you. Let's get on to the news article. Like I said, there's not a lot going on, but there is an article I do want to share with you guys. So the Association of Banks holds its workshop on the role of banking sector in activating tourism investments program. So again, this is just Kurdistan working with the investment bankers, private banks, about what they could do to help grow the tourism sector of Iraq. This would help bring in another source of income outside of the oil. So it's real important. So that's what they're working on, how they can develop it and how they can make it bigger once the Rona is gone. Parliamentary law sets a session next week to discuss the borrowing laws as well as the reform papers. So next week we're going to find out what's going on. They need to do it internally, that's for sure. Do not borrow with the IMF and the World Bank. Statement of Ministry of Finance goes on about the reform papers and what they need to go over. We already know most of this. We already do. So anyways, it goes on to say right here, look, according to the statement to the news, within the framework of the Ministry of Finance continuous endeavors and based on its responsibilities to reform the current economic and financial reality, the minister, through the visions that the financial reform paper carries, is moving towards a diversified multi-source economy. In other words, getting other sources of income away from oil. That's what they need to do. So that's pretty much what this covers. We already know they're going to be talking about it. So there's not a whole lot more. Al-Kadhimi is now going to his third stop over on his European tour. So this is good. Again, Al-Kadhimi out there kicking butt, making sure that Iraq can get back on an international stage and proving to the world that, hey, Iraq is not the same country as it used to be. They're a lot better. So again, not a lot of news, but if it changes, I will let you know. All right, two more things. One is, you guys, I just want to remind you, because this used to be called UK Dinar FX, and they went ahead and switched the names because people are saying I don't live in the UK. Just so you guys are aware, this made it simple for you because most of us know about what NESARA is. But look, they ship worldwide. So there's some of you guys in other countries that say, hey, Pimpy, I can't get this. Well, you can if you come to this website and buy from them. So if you buy from them, they offer you an opportunity to use a discount code. Just put in Pimpy, P-I-M-P-Y, and you'll save some money, all right? So let's get into this article, because I missed this article that came out at the beginning of the month. And this article is really kind of, it's big news, to be quite honest with you. Now, we know that Trump is trying to broker peace in the Middle East, all right? And I think he's still going to be able to pull this off, especially in the second term. They're already putting a squeeze on Iran, but Iran has been negotiating with them. I think, like everybody else, they're sitting back waiting to see what happens to the election, all right? But this news right here is huge, and you're going to see why. This week, in a three-part series on government-controlled television, Saudi Arabia served the Palestinian leadership with the right of divorce in a stinging bill of particulars that explain the breakup. That's funny how they word this. Anyways, delivered by Prince Sultan, the country's leading elder statesman, it brutally laid out the failures of Palestine leaders going back more than 70 years. It also suggests the futility of present Palestinian policies and the grim future it will bring the people it is supposed to represent. This is how you know things are changing over there. Nobody wants the status quo anymore, and this is important for what we want to accomplish over in Iraq. No Arab government has ever issued such a harsh public denunciation of the Palestine movement. Bandar, a longtime former Saudi ambassador to Washington and former Secretary General of the Saudi National Security Council, is now a private citizen. But Israel's intelligence figures and other experts I asked were in no doubt that he was speaking for the palace, and more specifically, the Crown Prince Salman. So this is on behalf of the royal family. This letter is going out. Indeed, the director of the Crown Prince's Bureau publicly praised the series as full of facts. So let's get into what they're laying out, because this is deep. Trump will get more peace in the Middle East. Barter spoke in Arabic to make sure these facts reach every country in the region with English subtitles for an international audience. He began by affirming Saudi support for all legitimate rights of the Palestine people, and chronicled the ways in which the government has stood steadfast during decades of fertility and regression. The Palestinian cause is a just cause, but its advocates are failures. This is brutal right here. So let me reword that because I screwed up. The Palestine cause is a just cause, but its advocates are failures. The Israeli cause is unjust, but its advocates have proven to be successful. This is serious. He began with the first Palestine advocate, the Mufti of Jerusalem. This goes back in the 1930s, in which they took sides and they bet on Germany to win, and it didn't happen. Banda recalled he was recognized by Germany, Hitler, and the Nazis for standing with them against the Allies. But Bonder notes that apart from Berlin radio broadcasting recordings, his loyalty got him nothing, and he did no good for the Palestine cause. Bender goes on to mention a list of similar bad choices and decisions. The Arab rejection of the 1948 United Nations partition plan that would have given Palestine a state. The Arab League's rejection of the UN Resolution 242 after the 1967 war that called for an Israel withdrawal from occupied territories, and the Palestine Liberation Organization rejection of the Clinton Plan in 2000 that would have given the Palestinians a state in most of the West Bank and Gaza. The most interesting rejection came in 1979 at Camp David. Israel offered Palestinians autonomy in the occupied territories. Yasser Arafat turned it down flat. 16 years later, Arafat signed the Oslo Accord with Israel, Bandar asked him at the time to compare the deal with the terms he had turned down 16 years ago. Arafat said that the autonomy offer was 10 times much better than the one he just signed. Bandar asked Arafat why. Why then did he reject such a good deal at Camp David? Arafat replied, according to Bandar, that he wanted to sign but refrained to because Assad, then the Syrian dictator and the father of the current Syrian dictator, threatened to kill him if he did. I remember thinking at the time, Bandar saying this, that he could have been one martyr that saved millions of Palestinians. That's deep. The story is not only a slap at Arafat, but the present leaders of Ramallah who practice a similar brand of negative diplomacy. An opportunity comes and it is lost, says Bandar. By the time the Palestinians come around to the idea, it's no longer on the table. Significantly, this is also so far true of the Palestinian rejection of the current American peace plan, which is modeled on the 1974 autonomy offer that Arafat rejected to his regret. Although given that hundreds of thousands of Israelis now live in these territories, and Gaza and the West Banks are separated for now, the proposed size of the autonomy would be smaller, but nonetheless, it would bring the most sought after peace in the Middle East, that's for sure. Prince Bandar is candid about the reasons for his monologue. First, he wants a record on how hard the Saudis have worked on behalf of Palestinians over the decades. Second, he insists to reassure the UAE and Bahrain, which are being vilified by Palestinians for recognizing Israel, and any other Arab country contemplating a similar step, that the Saudis have their back. So what the Saudis are saying is, look, Palestine is vilifying the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain for signing this peace deal, the Abraham Accord. And Saudi Arabia is like, you know what? We were standing at your guys' side, but no, we've had enough. Once again, you're being offered a situation that would benefit the Palestinian people, and you're turning it down. And this has been going on for decades, going back 70 years. So Saudi's like, look, we stand for your right to be acknowledged. But every time you guys get offered a chance, you turn it down. So they're no longer going to be supporting that type of movement, but instead are going to start supporting those individuals, those countries who move into the Abraham Accord, who want to bring peace to the Middle East. This is big news. This is really, really big news. Third, he's calling out the PLO and Hamas for making alliances with non-Arab countries, Turkey and Iran, who the Saudis consider dangerous. All right, if you guys remember earlier in the year, Hamas is now a part of the government over there in Palestine, but all of a sudden the people in Europe stopped recognizing them and stopped doing business with them. And that started happening everywhere. This is their way of cutting off Palestine to get them to come aboard with this agreement. In other words, you guys are allowing terrorists to run your country, and the Palestinian people deserve better. They deserve peace. He is signaling that the Saudis will deal only with the new generation of pragmatic, moderate, and dependable Palestinian partners. About the current leaders, he is candid. It is difficult to trust them and to do something for the Palestine cause with them around. In other words, hey, Palestinian people, it's time for you to remove the current government. It's time for you guys to take a stand. Let's bring peace to the Middle East. I'm sure this is driving a very particular congresswoman insane, Tlaib. Oh yeah, as well as Ilhan Ilmar, to see this type of stance. The prince, who posted all his words on social media, concluded with the declaration of independence from old obligations. In my own personal opinion, he says, we are at a stage in which, rather than being concerned with how to face the Israel challenges in order to serve the Palestine cause, we have to pay attention to our national security and interests. This is not, of course, simply Bander's personal opinion. It is the policy of the Saudi government that put him on the air for 3 days this week. Israeli strategists have long shared this evaluation. They are hoping that the new Saudi position may move the Palestinians towards a more realistic view of their prospects. This is huge news. So, I was telling you that Saudi Arabia most likely won't move to join this peace agreement unless Palestine joins. But you know what? This is Saudi who's been supportive of the Palestine movement. And look, Trump's even said this. When he first got into office and he was there with Bibi, Bibi was all happy that his friend got there. He said right in front of him in the news, you can see the facial expression on Bibi change. He said, look, we're going to have peace in there. There's going to be agreement. There has to be a compromise on both sides. You might be looking at a two-state situation, and that's when the face of Bibi changed slightly. But he knows he's right. These people can't be bickering. They have been for many decades over the same crap with no resolution. So here you go. If you start getting these Arab nations to all agree with Trump and bring peace to the Middle East, which, by the way, Trump has now been nominated for his 4th Nobel Peace Prize. They still won't give it to him. So the Saudi people saying, hey, look, you know what? We've had enough. Every time you get an offer that you should be taken so that we can get past all this hostility, bring peace to the Middle East, no more rocket launching, no more this, no more that. You guys make every excuse in the world to turn it down. So they're no longer supporting that. What they're saying is we don't support the current leaders. We are looking forward to supporting whatever new leaders get there. So with the European people as well as other people, including I think Canada recently said they no longer will deal with Hamas. With people turning against the leaders of Palestine, this is going to put the squeeze on them, and rightfully so. Here's the thing. I don't care which side of the fence you are on this whole situation. It's not fair to the Palestinian people, and it's not fair to the Israel people, Israelis. These people want peace. Peace. And you have governments and leaders that are making the decisions that affect the lives of peaceful people. That's the same thing that's happening here. But nonetheless, in Trump's second term, you're going to see the Middle East really, really have an economic boom. This is a huge move by Saudi Arabia, in my opinion. This puts a ton of pressure on Palestine. I was hoping this would have got done before the election, but it'll definitely get done in Trump's second term. There is, though, I'm still anticipating one more peace agreement probably coming out this week. If not the following week, we're going to see, and I think you're going to see Iraq along with Jordan come on board, and we'll see where that leads to. But again, there are other countries over there that they're already talking to. This will bring a lot of prosperity to the Middle East. This is great for a short and long-term investment into Iraq. The more stable that whole entire region becomes, the more easier it is to attract outside investors in who can help your economy boom. All right, you guys? So, sorry I didn't catch this earlier. You can see it came out on the 9th, but I'm just saying this is big news, and I just wanted to share it. All right, that's it for now. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I surely do appreciate it. And I'll catch you later.